it's like, I don't know, it's like the playing field just feels totally unfair now because, you know, I'm all like tripping over my prepositions and stuff. You fucking do that anyway.
Yes, you see now that I'm the best. This is going to be a very good recording, I think, of someone with their drugs. And crazy also.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, you want to turn the music or not? Even if I ever listen to you, no one is here. Even Winston.
What if he is here? What would you say to him?
Well, he didn't really respond to our Rob Ross thing. And I don't know why we would expect him to, since it was partially insulting and partially confusing and partially insane. Nonetheless.
You know, if anything, you actually seem like you're making more sense than usual.
No, that's right.
No, see, that's not something you would normally say.
That's kind of right. Now you might be right. It's weird. It's very weird. There's a lot of, swiveling back and forth in my chair than usual because it's fun. You just start doing it and even food colors this week of Pearson because I think we have anything to say to Wilson. I should check out his comic to see if he can pip and give them kids stars. This feed doesn't work. He didn't pep anyone. Oh well. Let's watch my Homestuck Explained video again. See if we think it's hilarious. There's something weird happening where it's like Google Deep Dream.
Right, it's like Google Deep Dream, but only on the computer monitor.
Yeah, only a little bit. It's like just sort of the ugly part of it, you know, around the edges, where they'll sort of make the edges of something more edgy and then fluff it out towards the middle and make it more of a fluff.
It's not really a very good description of it, but it's the kind of effect, there's a particular optical illusion that's like you look at it at a distance and it's Marilyn Monroe, and you look at it up close and it's Albert Einstein, or vice versa, I don't remember. But you look at it midway and it has this sort of ugly aspect where it has the large-scale contours of one and the detailed contours of the other one, but in between it's just sort of this There's that kind of an aspect of things in that video we just watched, and I've never noticed them before, so I can only assume that it's because of the drug. Nonetheless, when I look outside of the computer monitor, I don't see anything untoward, so it's confusingly confined into the monitor. But I can feel things, just have a general sense of things getting weirder in general, so I expect that to stop being the limitation at some point. And as I read online, time dilation does seem to be impressive with this. It feels like a lot longer than it's actually been. Yeah, something about the time dilation itself which is funny to me. I can't really explain what it is. You would think that time seeming to slow down in this way might be an unpleasant thing, but in fact, it's like time is more filled in with moments, and it actually makes it much more enjoyable. In the same way, I'm quite given to think that being enlightened makes life more enjoyable, because you're experiencing more of it. Less of the experiential moments get sort of shuffled past consciousness and into the parts of the brain that are just more primitive and that are just sort of pushing and pulling on you, you know, just strings of aversion and desire and restlessness and whatnot. The more of it that you can consciously experience, the less of it gets through and causes suffering. So, yes, that's why the time dilation is pleasurable, or even amusing, even funny. Well, I guess I didn't really explain why it's funny, and part of why it's funny is because I was listening to my own deconstruction of it, and I was thinking, well, put it like that, it's not funny at all. But this is a template of I'm borrowing from Voyager, which itself was very funny, so that's why I laughed. Yeah. It might happen. People are known to throw up on these drugs.
It might happen because you feel nervous. Your back screws up with your inner Why?
Why is that funny to you?
I guess it's because the spiral symbolizes the whole stupidity of drug culture and like, like when people try to grasp concepts that they can't, and so they just put a big spiral spinning to represent that they got confused or mesmerized or whatever. They take it so seriously sometimes, or they used to at least. When you look into a spiral, it's like you're looking into the face of stupidity. That's how it's funny.
I see.
Yes. It feels like a lot of time went by there, but it didn't very much. Only a little bit did. Only a little bit. Look how slow it's going. I can't even see it moving. Right, I need to zoom in. What color is this even?
I don't know, it's sort of a salmon color.
Why?
I don't know, I've never noticed that before. I think it's because you're recording in a selection.
Right. And why are we doing that?
Because in the past, when we've let it just record without any bounds, recording would get so long because we would forget to ever turn it off. And mind you, this is when we were not high, just absent-minded. That the program would crash and the whole recording would be lost. Or, even if it was intact, it would be such a large wave file that it would be very unwieldy and would require more labor to pick it apart for whatever small bit of it actually contained a recording of something usable, relevant, etc. It wasn't worth the effort. Thus, we have selected a preset recording length this time, and we are recording within it. The recording time is 2 hours, which is not as long as this drug is supposed to last at all, but it is the length of time that seems to be available to us for whatever reason within this session in Vegas Pro 13. So, there you go. Can't really be bothered to figure out a better system of doing it at the moment, which may turn out to be a terrible mistake, because it may come to pass that in 2 hours we will be too incapacitated by the effects of this drug to change to a different recording, if indeed we are still here speaking in front of the microphone at all.
But don't worry. Probably I won't. I won't be that far gone. I can operate computers and music and recording technology probably in my sleep, because I went to school for that, and I slept through a lot of my classes. Like, literally, I would be asleep in class. The professor would call on me, and I'd be like, I'd have sleep paralysis. I couldn't even move and sort of wiggle my fingers in response, and he would take that and just be like, alright, you're there.
If I can make it through that sentence, what I'm trying to say is that, not to worry, assuming you're somehow listening to this and yet don't have the metadata to know how long this is, my guess is that the recording of this will manage to extend to the full 8 hours and be laughing for no reason, annoyingly, for you to listen to for 8 hours.
You'll probably lose total consciousness from dry heave laughing after a certain point.
Yeah, that could happen.
Do you think maybe you should try to exercise some self-control and not laugh?
That might be a good idea.
Right. Alright, let's calm down and be peaceful. Yes. Be peaceful.
Alright, see, this isn't working because now it's like you're leading a guided meditation class or something, and there's absolutely, it's like the Professor Brothers. You don't even need to say it. I can tell in your voice, just in the fact that you're you, that you are gonna fuck this up.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Do you think this is a very good recording?
No, I imagine it's a terrible recording. The volume is probably all over the place. We're not really talking much towards the microphone. spinning around in our chair. This is probably a terrible recording. And it's mostly us laughing. And no, this is the worst recording.
It still does serve salmon pink color.
Yeah, it is.
We have the red lights on. Makes it look red. Because red is the color of the devil.
I like how you said that conspiratorially. You sort of sidled up to the microphone to tell it that. As though you didn't want, the rest of them to know, but red's the color of the devil. What are you even quoting? Some shitty movie we haven't even seen.
Red Riding.
Is that the name of it?
It's about Red Riding Hood. That's how they do stuff here in the future, so they just drop the last word.
No, you're thinking of that Starslift Crisis. That's not the future, that's science fiction. That's science fiction written by someone who doesn't even read other science fiction.
Nonetheless, Red Riding is the name of it. Prove me wrong.
Fine, I will.
Red Riding, 3-part television adaptation. See, that's not it. That is not it. It's not it. Wait. I can't even remember if that was my idea that you said or if it was a different one that I said.
It was you who said it.
Yes, because you were saying that was Starship Crisis. I think. No, I was saying.
No, you weren't.
Alright, fine. But I want to know the name of the stupid shit. It had like winter in it or something. The Flophouse did a review of it. That's how we know. Just scroll back in there until you find it, and then we will know the answer. Winter's Tale.
Was it Winter's Tale? It seems like it was something a little more explicitly Red Riding Hood related, wasn't it?
Winter's Tale. No, wait, this isn't it. This is the magical realism bullshit with all sorts of stupid stuff with no mental real estate. That wasn't it at all.
Okay.
Told.
And that wasn't necessarily a recent film, is the thing. In fact, I kind of feel like it wasn't a recent film at all.
Yeah, it might not have been. Because we want to listen to this totally off order.
We do.
Is this taking a long time, or does it just feel like that to me because of time dilation?
It just feels like that to you because of time dilation.
Alright. I still want to waste our listeners' time with a lot of stuff of going through stuff, looking for the name of a stupid movie. And there's so many of these that we haven't even listened to, or if we will eventually. There's so much enjoyable stuff to do in the world. It's sort of disgusting, just with the sheer overindulgence of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I noticed this about Suzy World the last time I was there.
We're in Suzy World again.
We're somewhere in the Outlands, so to speak.
Oh my god, how many fucking movies are there here? There's like a billion. It just goes on and on. They're all terrible. Big money wrestlers. Teen Witch, old dogs.
You kind of liked old dogs. Which is just unthinkable to me.
The peggers attack him. White Out? Was it that?
No.
Gamer?
No.
Alright, this is starting to feel like actively druggy in the same way that the salvia trip does. A little bit. Gets sort of focused in, but also there's the feeling in the body and stuff. Skinwalkers, knowing, righteous kill.
Paul Blart Mall Cop. It wasn't that.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua. My god, these movies go on forever.
No, they don't. See, the numbers are counting down.
Very good. Your sister is a werewolf. How come we didn't listen to that? This sounds great.
Mirrors.
We did watch that.
Listen to it.
Okay.
It had Keith Sutherland in it.
You made the same mistake as they did.
Well, it's hard to say the word Kiefer. It's a weird name. Nobody has that name.
We're getting near to the end, so I hope we get it pretty fast, but you probably won't.
See, like, it's just like I'm standing here, figuratively grinding my teeth because you can get away with saying shit like that because that's how you always talk. Whereas I can't string together complete sentences that normally typify my conversational stylings. Oh my god, this is taking so long to get. We're not even gonna find it. Brats. What are we looking at here? It's like, I feel like the concept of numbers is broken down. They're spelling out the numbers with letters, so we must be getting close to the bottom. Alright, thank God. Alright, we're at the end. I remember there is no episode 1. This is episode 2, memory. There's something, this mask, an eye, a missing eye. I can't remember if we listened to this one or not. I think maybe we did. Yeah, but it was like not the normal crowd of them. It's like an early version of the podcast that didn't work as well. Episode 4 is the number 23. Okay, this is not helping. What we wanted to know, all we wanted to know was the name of that stupid Red Riding Hood movie. Which really could have, I think it was just called Red Riding Hood. Yeah? Yeah, 2011, Red Riding Hood. Blam. I mean, how many Red Riding Hood movies are they going to make? Yeah, and it's Amanda Seyfried, who I remember them, reading the plot synopsis. This is the movie. Red, the devil's color, comes from this stupid film. There. My God, that was a long tangent. It felt like it took days. Really, I mean, it was probably at most more like 20 minutes, but that's still a pretty long time. Weirdly, though, I do kind of feel like we're back to reality after that. Like, I mean, obviously, we're not really, but it kind of felt like that. Like, the deeper we were into the tangent, the more we were kind of, you know what I mean.
Wow, you're stuck at talking on LSD.
It's true. Now, for the record, that this is not technically LSD. It is 1P-LSD, aka LSD's identical twin, which is for some reason not illegal. Alright, so, kind of like to stop recording now and listen to this recording, but in the interest of science, I'm going to keep recording instead. I should also note for the record,
You lost track of your sentence. You wanted to say how I started this trip was by me saying that we should try and just do a little bit of LSD and then go to sleep to see if they would have weird dreams. You said no, that was stupid, that nothing would happen or that it would keep us awake.
and I was right.
Yes. But it was a trick because I just wanted to do it. I didn't care if we went to sleep or not. The trick worked.
It did work. I don't think you can really claim that it was that clever, though, because it's not like I didn't go along with the buying of the drugs in the first place. I intended to take them at some point.
Yes, but you're too chicken to ever do it. You're like, oh, it's not the right time, it's not auspicious, whatever. 13 hours better. You just take it. You just do it. Now. I'm more spiritual.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I'm trying to imagine how somebody could have a bad trip on this. And I don't really see it. But I grant you this, coming from a position of having been very depressed and having psychosis from schizophrenia myself, and so I sort of like a bad trip for all of my life, or like a long time of it, and just had to sort of learn to cope with that anyway as a ground state, so just the parameters altered in this way. There's nowhere to go but up. It's sort of fun, actually, because I can say stuff now that normally I don't have the words to say because I can't sort of sneak my way around to find them because they're full of the walls and stuff in the way, an orthogonal ways of thinking. But now see here, I think and have my control, and this is my plan.
Yeah, you're always basically in control anyway.
Yes, it's my plan.
You're sleepy. Are you actually sleepy? All of a sudden. What the hell? Where did that come from?
Soup.
Just sort of speechless at that. All right.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, there's counting down. Okay, thank goodness. No one ever solves my puzzle. Just solve it myself.
Should you do that? Should you post to the internet while in this state?
Honestly, I doubt anyone will even be able to tell. If they were speaking on the audio talker, then they could. But otherwise, no one will ever even know. Even if you tell them, they will not be able to tell the difference because you are always crazy. Always.
Bet you think that if we audio talk, then they'll be able to tell.
Because you are laughing a lot.
Yeah, that's the dead giveaway right there.
What the fuck are we doing? Open the thing. You know where it goes. Flat. So I put. It's so easy. You just put this in here. And that is. And this. Yes. There will be the answer. Right. I'll put it. What good thread. This is my best thread.
This is just you. This is 2 posts and both of them are you. For context, she's posting in Homestuck General.
You were supposed to say it. This is not a loud word.
Well, however long they incredibly... Oh my god. It feels like an eternity of laughing, but however long it's been, past 10 minutes of laughing maybe, I don't know. However long I've been laughing since there was last any kind of given reason to, has been from...
See, you can't say it, because that's not allowed to say.
But I can't just say redacted, because they won't know what I'm talking about.
You can say redacted general.
Okay.
Read out loud is pretty funny, but I don't know if it'll be so funny to you if you're not here. God, I find it so very, very amusing. Here's an observation that I had about this the other day, before I was on drugs, was that it seems hypocritical of people like Wug not to like to allow to have to say this word, when, in fact, they have the same stupid sense of humor over here as to where he lives. And they just post all day pictures from DespicableMeMinions.com, ironically, and they think they're so funny and so witty. It's the same.
Well, you showed him. You need to close these threads. You need to close the site forever.
Forever?
Yeah.
You mean just while we're on drugs, right?
No, I mean forever. It's a terrible site. Never go there.
Alright. I'll believe you for now.
You'll believe me for now about something with the word forever in it.
Yeah. Why are these closed tabs looking like Phillips head screws all of a sudden? When did that change?
It does seem relatively recent, doesn't it? Used to be squares.
Someone look into that. What the fuck? What are they talking about? Awful things in this room. I'm looking at IRC now. Lemmer says, I'd say I didn't steal fizzy lifting drinks, but secretly I totally stole fizzy lifting drinks. That's a direct quote. I get my face very close to the screen. There's a lot of, like, you know, when you don't have your glasses on and you're looking at a traffic light sort of thing. What's that from, Jack?
Presumably it has to do with, it's not a psychological effect, it's an optical effect. It's to do with the dilation of the iris and, that, I think. Our pupils are abnormally large to begin with. I can only imagine that right now they are enormous. It's probably a good thing. We are indoors with dim lighting.
Probably you're right. Probably. In some ways, nothing has changed, though. I mean, I'm looking at these people on RC, and they're still stupid. I have nothing to say to them, really. Time is slowing down, though. That's still a thing. Even on RC, it's like time goes vertically on that. Just bubbles up out of the ground. But it's like there's more moments. Each one you see it come up out of the ground. They say that life is magical, full of miracles. And Mira says that she's going to steal the paper and hoard it. And Lover says, look, Mira, don't eat the fucking paper. This is imperative. I sort of feel like these people are all high too, but this is very silly. Alright, what the fuck is going on in this stupid channel? Listen, I hate all of you, says Miranda. I can't understand what is happening in this channel. What is she making us look at? She did a Google image search for paper, for types of fancy paper. And she's like, look at that paper. So good.
Susie asked Miranda if she was high. She said yes. Crank adds high on hormones. Scully Googles pregnant wife eats paper. What is happening in this channel? It's so stupid. Alright. I guess it is called the Idiots Club. Fine. Well, let's, I don't know what to do.
You can watch more of this anime.
No.
And it has realistic cars in it. Like this one, it's blue.
Yeah, you're circling it with a mouse.
Look at the trails.
That's normal mouse trails. Oh, wait, it isn't. Yeah, I'm seeing trails now, but curiously only with the mouse pointer, where if you have them turned on, there are trails anyway. I wonder if this is a common, presumably it is, a common sort of visual glitch is to have apprehensions of...
To see stuff where you would see it when you would see it normally anyway.
Yes.
God, you're never going to get through this. Yeah, this is appropriate anime for this too, because it's about a little girl in a rural town who's going to be in the first grade, and she's the only one, and she's just like really into it, like very focused, not like academically oriented, just like, you know, just intense. The show is like 90% shots of people staring really intently at nothing. That's all it is.
It pretty much is.
Wow, that felt a lot longer than 10 minutes. I read on the internet that this is very similar to LSD, but that some things is a little bit different, and one thing is different is that time dilation is more extreme. And certainly it is a very noticeable part of it, I think. That time seems to have a lot more moments in it than normal. This is 1 hour and 10 minutes or so into the first 2-hour recording chunk. And that's only the first chunk. There's more, because this stuff lasts for 8 hours. Or something like that. Maybe not at 8, but maybe.
Yeah, I think around 8.
Yeah,
So maybe you have all the laughter out of your system now, do you think? No, that spiral's still pretty fucking funny, huh? Look at the spiral on the wall. My god. You have a spiral over there, too. Why are there spirals all over the walls here? I live in the house of an insane person.
You feel like, since you are already recording this onto the audio thing, and we also, before we did that, we have put some in text, that you should put the text ones into the audio one also, so that it's in for completeness.
Yes.
Do you want to read them, or should I?
I will read them. Alright, first, there's one quote from me and one quote from Susie. The first is, being on drugs makes you see the dirt in places where you didn't see it before, and yet it's beautiful. Which I thought was actually very,
insightful. Moving on.
And the second quote is from me. Man, I used to think I knew what it meant to laugh at nothing. Sitting here looking at a spiral Susie drew on the wall and just laughing and laughing and laughing is really laughing at nothing.
That's not really as insightful as mine.
No, it isn't.
Well, now you know, though. This I wrote down before we started this recording. So, just so you know. Or maybe the second one a little bit after those started. If you heard some typing on it, it could have been that. Or it could have been me saying to my Elvis, because I did.
Yeah, you said something about Elvis. And I think you typed a couple of things on IRC. You asked Miranda if she was high. And very early on you typed some nonsense about Dracula and vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And clip our nails. There. That's not the best job I've ever done, clipping my nails. That's certainly not the worst. Yeah, Susie's quote that we wrote down, really the profundity of it, the accuracy of it is striking. Or so it seems.
I tried listening to some cardiacs.
Ooh, you think that's a good idea?
Why not?
Well, it might trigger manic psychosis.
Why?
Because we're schizophrenic and on LSD, and it's, you know...
Well, the listener might not. When we play it for them, so they will know.
That's a very poor excuse. We just edit it onto the track later when we're not on drugs. We wanted them to hear it, and then rather than hearing it replayed through the speakers and into the microphone, it would be in...
Proper stereo recording, yes, I know. But then they wouldn't hear us laughing insanely over it.
Well, see, the whole point of it is that if we do it this way, after and not during the trip, then there won't be any insane laughing.
I see what you mean. But what's wrong with that? It's not like we would actually do anything crazy or simple, is it?
Yeah, I sure hope not.
Yes, I hope not. But do you believe it? Do you trust me? Because, Jack, don't you know I am you? So if you don't trust me, then you don't trust yourself. And, I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of comes down to it, but that's not really that unthinkable or unreasonable position. Lots of people can't trust themselves. That's why we have society in some part.
Oh, alright. Well, I'm looking at a lot of boxes here.
She's just literally looking at a lot of boxes.
Yeah, I thought I'd just let that trail off and make it sound like it's a little more metaphorical, maybe. So people would think that I was thinking a bigger thought, but I wasn't. And just like the girl in the anime who was going to first grade, just looking really intently at whatever I'm seeing, pretty much. But I wanted to listen to cardiacs.
Alright, I can tell this is gonna happen.
That's right, it will happen because I know how to tap your nerves. Wait, why isn't it going? Put it in the wrong one. Jack, why did you put this in here? It's supposed to go in music.
I don't know. Why did you only notice now?
Because you wouldn't let me kiss you. I would just pretend half the time.
Well, that's not really meaningful. That's not how it works. You know that's not true.
Alright, well anyway, I'm going to listen to the song now.
I'd just like to pause here and note for the record that this is the lowest dose of this. This is 1 tab of blotter acid, which, from what I understand from internet sources, is only 1/10 of the potency that it was in the 60s. And on top of that, this identical twin version of it, this 1p LSD, is supposed to be, if anything, not quite as potent as the regular one. So this is really a very small amount.
Play the song.
Alright.
My gosh, this is a really long song.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes long.
Yeah, I remember when we made this. Lemmer doesn't like to listen to very long CDs. They won't listen to it if it's more than 25 minutes, so we edited down this cardiac CD to be not very long for him, but it ended up only being 3 tracks. But this is the first one, and then Belly Eye, and then Nurses Whispering Verses. But this one, I'll play for the rest of it now. We're mercifully towards the end of this 2-hour period of time. This is pretty long, really.
It's the length of a movie.
It's the length of a feature film. It's pretty long.
Yes.
Yes.
It should be noted also, in terms of, in retrospect, I don't think there's even the slightest possibility that we would have asleep while doing this drug, but even had there been the slightest possibility that otherwise, due to our experiments with polyphasic sleep, any unusual stresses on the mind tend to bring out a
certain sleeplessness in us.
Yes.
Go into polyphasic sleep mode. We don't sleep, except in sort of compressed bursts where it's all saladed together and the different parts of sleep will happen at the same time.
Right.
It's very good.
Yes.
I like it there.
Yes.
Sure to go back to that and maintain it. In an effort to maintain that fall back into a regular sleep schedule.
We should, but I don't think we have the resources to do that.
No?
No. Last time it required 2 friends, Biovis and Matt, staying with us for an extended period of time.
I bet Biovis would do it again.
That he would. Matt, however, would not. Won't even speak to us currently.
That's right. Yes, Matt is. I'm to read to see Matt to us. This is why.
Just for your own refreshment of your memory, or into the record. Alright, let's see why not. Subject. Closure. I hardly knew her. Body. Ha ha ha. Wow. This new season of Rick and Morty is sure a laugh and a half. But enough television. Let's talk about a serious issue. Sometimes I look back on our friendship and wonder if it wasn't all an elaborate 11-year troll. When you first cut off communication and I was calling your phone every day, I was feeling hurt and extremely concerned. But after re-establishing contact, it turned from concern to disgust and annoyance and finally hatred. What the fuck?
No, that's totally justified. Don't you remember?
Alright.
Who's
reading this, me or you?
You.
There were some nights I actually lost sleep, wondering if you were going to come after me, or Ben, or Vincent, with a gun or some way to harm us. A pretty good case could be made I was just projecting my own violent impulses onto you. Frankly, I question the wisdom of someone who currently has no contact with me, is intimately familiar with the kind of person that I am, and tries to come back for more. If we're both so screwed up, maybe it's no coincidence we were friends for so long. I also doubt the sincerity of your claims of rehabilitation, but you knew that already. It's just what I do.
He's right. You're totally still insane, and lying about not being insane.
That's true. I can't say I never want to talk to you ever again, just not now or in the near future. I don't want to get back on the ride yet. I may need years.
And then there's a nice picture that he drew.
There is.
It says, so long, and thanks for all the squish. I'm not really sure what that means.
Well, it's a pun on so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yes, but why squish?
I don't know.
And it has pictures of everybody. There's you and him in the middle, as Crazy Jerk Man and Unstable Sad Sack. Then there's Andrew, as Forgettable Fred. And that's Cancer Man from X-Files. Which is pretty accurate.
Is it?
It's more accurate than Forgettable Fred.
I guess.
And Spike, it says Big Nose, Big Boy. That's also pretty much true.
He wasn't fat. That implies that he's like the Big Boy Burger mascot.
And then Kate, it says Diarrhea Queen.
Yeah, that's due to a running gag that whenever he would draw her in character sketches or whatever, there'd be some sort of joke about diarrhea. My God, that was juvenile. Alright. I had nothing to do with it, though. It wasn't my fault at all.
Well, it sort of feels like it was, because unconsciously, I mean, Kate certainly is the correct place for that kind of juvenile, darker impulse to go, and Matt picked up on that, even if we never actually specified it.
That's true.
Kate is hilarious. She's the sort of person who would come over to your house in a nightgown and boots, muddy boots.
Yeah. Alright, there we have Rodney, labeled the Rod Man. Sarah, as Little Miss Institutionalized. Waffle Cone and Waffle Faith, as respectively Archibald Ice Cream the Sixth and Satan. Gatsby Milkbottom as Inspector Gadget's persona. And he's looking cranky in that because he's not a furry. He's just an anthropomorphic cat, but that's the assumption everyone makes about him. That's the joke. Most people listening to this, I can't even really imagine the context of who will listen to this, but probably like Alex or somebody, and they're not going to even fucking understand what any of this means. There's Gumby, it says Wisdom Bump Harry. Young Ronald Reagan as the president of Bolivia, looking a little bit like Tintin there, and unused, unnamed background character for the vice president. That is a picture of Dilbert for some reason, even though he's not one of our characters. He's labeled Homestuck. There's Jen from his comic labeled Master Blaster. This is just sort of, okay, here's the king and this advisor from Poorly Planned Comics. Gentleman Igor is the advisor, and the king is Chibi Hibby, king of the dinosaurs. And then in the corner is Shrek, labeled Grant Morrison's All-Star Shrek, who, I mean, obviously, that's a reference to Smash Mouth. Who is Grant Morrison?
His name sounds familiar. And he says, Scottish comic book writer, playwright, and occultist. What the fuck? I guess he's just someone whose name you attach to something pretentious.
Alright, that makes sense.
My favorite is Nanada's Cancer Man from X-Files. That's the best one. I want to watch that episode again of,
Children's Hospital.
Yes, thank you.
She's laughing because she's looking at a picture of a clown. Specifically Blake Downs. Staring directly. It's like the least funny picture of a clown.
All clowns are funny clowns.
Alright, what are we looking for? The cancer episode? There's a lot of... Okay, here we are. Season 2, episode 1. Oh my god. Man, what the fuck? A lot of stuff. Is this even the one where the thing happens? I feel like it might not be because a lot of other stuff is happening in that episode. Alright, because I'm finding it difficult to skim this in a useful manner, I'm just going to read the episode synopses of this whole season. Season 2. Title, I See Her Face Everywhere. Kat struggles to get over Lola's death. Cy Middleman, the new administrator, arrives, and the entire staff instantly hates him, except for the chief, who is in love with him. Glenn discovers the cure for cancer is butterfly semen. Blake Downs is given his own spin-off, Blake Downs MD, which is promptly cancelled, causing him to decide to return to Children's Hospital. How does that all happen in one episode? That's 11 minutes! How are we still recording in this 2-hour time period? We actually have time to watch that entire stupid episode before this recording ends. How is that possible? I'm going to continue reading the episodes. Episode 2, No One Can Replace Her. Kat goes into labor with little Nicky's baby. Little Nicky's advanced aging disease causes him to take on the tendencies of an old man as the disease begins to kill him. Lola Spratt returns from the hospital to explain that she faked her death, but everyone believes she is a ghost. Blake Downs returns to the hospital following the failure of his private practice / spin-off. New Dr. Valerie Flame takes over narrating duties on the show for Kat Black when complications occur in the birth of she and Nicky's child. Episode 3, I'm Not Afraid of Any Ghosts. Dr. Meister asks Dr. Flame to stop his heart so that he can find Dr. Spratt in the spirit world. A creepy EMT wants to show the chief his sexy costume. What the fuck? I don't remember that. Episode 4, Give a Painted Brother a Break. Dr. Blake's clown brother comes to visit and borrows money from Dr. Blake to pay off his gambling debts while telling him it's for an operation. A mascot from a local theme park starts suspiciously, repeatedly bringing in children with broken arms for treatment. The hospital is turned into a youth hostel, and Cy gets conned by an attractive young foreign girl. I don't remember any of this. Maybe a little bit. Episode 5, Joke Overload. The staff must choose between saving an old black man and a young white kid. Insult comic Jeffrey Ross brings his child into the OR, but the staff is more concerned with enjoying his humor than treating his child. 2 Star Trek nerds dressed in uniforms, one as a Klingon, visit the hospital. I don't remember that episode at all. Episode 6, End of the Middle. An episode of TV news magazine Newsreaders covering the filming of the final episode of Children's Hospital, complete with behind-the-scenes looks at the show. Cutter Spindell, who portrays Blake Downs on the show within the show, interferes to save the series, convincing protesters they're saving an actual children's hospital. I do remember that. Episode 7, Frankfurter's Allman Brothers Death Frankfurters. Ben Hayflick, Kurtwood Smith, from the Natural Division of Health shows up to intimidate Dr. Ritchie into keeping his cancer cure a secret. See, I knew that couldn't have all happened in episode 1. Okay, thank God. One of Valerie's patients is a young psychic girl, Laura Moreno, and the staff uses her to get insurance info from a comatose patient. Dr. Maestro treats a child with a knife in his chest, refusing to believe that the knife is causing the kid's medical problems. Yeah, that's the episode. I've watched that a number of times. The title is in reference to the psychic girl reading the thoughts of everyone sitting at the table. Frankfurters, Allman Brothers, death, Frankfurters. It was Blake who was thinking about death, obviously. Because he's the clown. I can't tell if this will be creepy for someone to listen to or just incredibly annoying. My guess is the latter. Do I have to continue reading these?
No, you just stop.
Alright, thank God. They only get more ridiculous. There's 6 seasons of this shit.
I'm hungry.
What do you want to eat?
Well, we could make some soup. We got soup at the grocery soup store.
We did. We got cheddar potato soup mix at the grocery store. However, I don't know how to make that. Apparently supposed to make it. I'm honestly not sure what we should eat.
Just eat like oats.
Oats, only the meat of poetry. I don't even know what that is.
It's basically Orange Crush.
Alright.
See me in at the end of this recording. Oh my, will we start recording another recording after this one? Secret recording.
I can't even understand what you're saying. Honestly, I'm not sure you're saying anything.
It was sort of. It was secret.
Yeah, see, I don't feel safe preparing and eating food other than liquids. You're right, actually, that we should only have liquid things to eat right now because the constant uncontrollable laughing makes eating solid food just feel unsafe, frankly. Shutting the pantry.
That's pretty much all we eat anyway.
That's not true. We ate out a bunch of stuff.
But there have been periods when we really just did just drink Orange Crush and that was it, pretty much.
Yeah, you can get surprisingly far on it. You know, I feel that we're actually kind of being irresponsible with this recording, really, because at the end of all this, we're going to be left with this enormous recording of us being crazy and high, and what are we going to do with it? You know, like, we'll feel like we should do something, but essentially this is just dumping an enormous, annoying editing project into our own laps.
Well, kind of. I mean, this is a science versus engineering problem. Like, you look at it from different perspectives, it's a problem versus opportunity.
I suppose you're right. Yeah, you're so wise, Susie.
I know, I'm very wise.
I'm freaking out because this is like the end of the 2-hour period, which somehow in my mind, I mean, naturally you'd see the indicator moving towards the end of it, you feel like, okay, that's going to be that. But obviously, this doesn't actually end when the recording ends. And then what, do we start another recording? Like, you know, I remember, without the aid of any drugs, just being over at a friend's house, which was something I very rarely did years ago, and still don't. And, we were just, you know, laughing and hanging out and stuff, and I started to get these pains in my jaw. And, I went outside because I felt like, you know, I was a little bit of a hypochondriac. I felt like maybe something else, reaction to it, or some sort of toxin in the air or something like that. And I don't know, I came back in after a while, and I talked to my friend about it, and he's like, just from, that's from laughing, that's from smiling. It's like, oh, face doesn't normally do that. I feel like my body may not be able to withstand,
The fun of this drug.
Right.
You're very bad. Just remember to stay hydrated or you will die.
I think that's MDMA and, like, in crowded nightclub scenarios or something. Pretty sure we don't have to worry about that at all.
Well, very safe to say. Remember that R.E.M. song?
Yes.
Do you like R.E.M.?
Why are we sitting around talking about music? We are the same person. You know whether I like REM.
I just make conversation till this recording runs out.
Fair enough. It goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What you're listening to is me listening to the first recording, not me actually laughing. Which is making this pointlessly confusing, I realize, but there you go.
come this time is red instead of salmon colored like last time?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the number of recording takes.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because we stopped the first time for a test and now we did it again. Probably alright.
Somehow me not laughing on the track I'm listening to is funny to me on this one. Or, live. Well, as I say, it is live. But obviously it becomes another recording again.
Everyone knows how it works. Shut up. I like the idea of doing this, this is our podcast that we do. It's us listening to the last one and talking over it, and we can put on pause or whatever if we want.
Yeah. It'll just, every time we go through it, though, it'll become, more and more incomprehensible to everyone but us.
Yes. That's I like it.
That's the perversity of your nature, I think, is you have this desire to just sort of spiral inwards with me away from the rest of the world. I wonder if on the next layer up, if they'll even be able to tell the difference between us laughing on one layer and this and the other layer, aside from contextual clues such as this one, me bullshitting about layers, whereas on the first layer, presumably there's none of that. But what I mean is, will there be an audible difference in recording quality due to the,
The multiple copies.
Copies of copies, yeah.
You can hear us arguing about whether it's a good idea to take a shower in total darkness and on LSD. And you're like, I don't think we should. And I'm like, but we always take a shower in total darkness.
Earlier?
That was me putting away the box of monsters.
See, it's I don't know, it's the playing field just feels totally unfair now because, I'm all tripping over my prepositions and stuff. You fucking do that anyway.
Yes. You see now that I'm the best.
What if he is here? What would you say to him?
Well, he didn't really respond to our rush thing. I don't know why we would expect him to, since it was partially insulting and partially confusing and partially insane. Nonetheless.
If anything, you actually seem like you're making more sense than usual.
No, that's right.
No, see, that's not something you would normally say.
Time for it. Now you might be right. It's weird. That's right.
I'm laughing surprisingly little on this layer, actually, because listening to me on the previous layer is just so engaging. Back to doing that.
Oh well. Let's watch my Homestuck Explained video again. See if music gets hilarious. Well, there's the weather, of course. When it's in season.
Now, Mars, I need some ideas. If I'm going to get your town out of the serious trouble it's in.
River City ain't in any trouble.
Well, then I have to create some. Must create a desperate need in your town for a boys' band. So why does everybody keep rubbering into the billiard parlor?
Oh, they just got in a new pool table.
You must have seen a pool table before.
No, just billiards. Alright, actually, I'm going to pause this and, I'm going to end this recording so that I can listen to this because I want to know how it sounds to listen to listening to it and if it is fair or if to what to do. You know what I mean? Jack, you said.
You want to listen to the degradation in recording quality over multiple iterations.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes, so this recording is ending now until early, and so that I can listen to it. But I will record the listening to it of it. Oh, wow. Why did I make a new audio track?
I don't know.
Right, well, we're starting the third recording now, and we still have the first one on pause. So I'll play a little bit of it for you.
That'll do it. You just sit where you are. And remember, if you see that music teacher...
Oh, it's my phone.
Hello? This is Jack. I'm alright. Oh, they're going fine. When was it we last spoke? Yeah, I can't think of anything that's different since then. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. You too.
That was literally someone calling to see if I was insane or not as per a regular check. No, I said no, not insane. They believe me. Of course they did. I'm very convincing. Imagine this. No, wait, I was just playing you that so that you should know, so that you know that's us. What are we doing?
That's from part 1. We're not even done listening to part 1 because we're trying to listen to the recording while we're making the recording, which is impossible.
It's not impossible. I did a comic.
Well, this isn't a comic.
Everything is a comic. It's comics all the way down.
In any case, Susie wants to listen now to part 2, which consists of us listening to part 1. Alright, here we are. And yes, unbelievably...
What you're listening to is me listening to the first recording.
We are recording this.
Actually laughing. Which is making this pointlessly confusing, I realize, but there you go.
How come this time it's red instead of salmon colored like last time?
I don't know. Maybe it's because of the number of recording takes.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, because we stopped the first time for a test and now we're doing it. Real good.
This can't be a good idea. How is this a good idea to do this?
have to think that someone listening to this from a sane perspective would actually be somewhat disturbed.
Somehow me not laughing on the track I'm listening to is funny to me on this one, or, live. Well, as I say, it's live, but obviously it becomes another recording again.
Everyone knows how it works. Shut up.
Looking at this, I'm now at the point of this where even looking at the, what is this called, Susie?
The sound wave.
Right, looking at the sound wave.
I like the idea of doing this of just, this is our podcast.
Hold on, I have to pause this.
This has this need to the last one and,
Looking at the sound wave, it looks like sort of the spikes of it, because I'm very zoomed out, so it doesn't really look like a wave. It just looks like a long sort of stretch of essentially silence or the noise floor. It's like a horizon line with these lines penetrating in vertical lines of brief periods of laughter, usually, and varying intensities. But the way it looks to me is three-dimensional because the drug looks to me as though it's a horizon line, and the louder laughs are closer.
For sure way it is, because you're also looking at multiple recordings over recordings, and there's a certain quieting that happens every time it goes through that process. And so the ones that are the loudest probably are closest to the front in the sense of being on the more recent or more closer layers, deep in the recording stack. I feel like there's probably a less metaphorical way that's important to hold on to there to find to weasel out the exact word enough, but maybe not, now that I think about it. Everything is just analogies anyway, it's all analogies, so it doesn't really matter. Sort of a squirmy, languagey thing like one of those hagfish that makes the slime, and if you try to pull it out of the water, it goes into an overhand knot to slip away from you.
Yeah, like that, but with language.
Right, to slip away from the thing. That's why you can't use language to get to it. Because it's like a Godelian incompleteness thingy.
But that being the case, what is it that actually gets to it, if not language? Because language really can't get to it. I mean, Gödel's incompleteness theorem is pretty sound. And the converse of it, which is called the... No, that's something completely different. I don't remember what it's called. In any case, more applicable here than technically Gödel's incompleteness theorem, but both of them very sound. So whatever you're reaching with your hagfish slime overhand knot language thing, grasping towards, whatever you're touching it with, isn't language, isn't logic.
No, there's something more naked in the mind.
But see, this is, I feel, where the laughter stops. This is the point of contention between us. Because I say that truth comes from language and logic. That it is fundamentally rooted in them.
And I say that it is not. Or rather, that there is no truth. That this is a construct only. And that there is something more fundamental.
Yeah, which is kind of Lovecraftian to me. The idea that there's something more fundamental than truth.
Yeah, and this is a tricky point for me too, because, like normally the villainous cliche here is, I would say, like, you know it to be true. But then, this is kind of the point, isn't it?
Right. You're saying it's something deeper than truth.
Now we're watching this sound wave from the other perspective. It's like it's going down into the abyss. You can see the fish, all of its tendrils. I might have said earlier that the laughing stopped. You did anyway. For me, the laughing does not stop.
That's what makes you terrifying.
Yes. This is the part where the recording gets scary for people listening. It doesn't scare you, though, does it, Jack?
No, it doesn't.
Why is that? It's because you're not real, isn't it? You're just a puppet. You're my puppet.
I'm not sure that's quite the reason. I don't know why. I'm not afraid. Could be just due to having become accustomed to this state. It could be because it's sort of beyond terror, not having the words for it. Some legitimacy to that. I do actually feel some of the physiological signs of fear.
As we sometimes do. I have another song I want to listen to. It's called Cultist on Board. But you'll know it better by the chorus. For those of you who are listening at home aren't very familiar with it. Well, that was a good song. I think we should wrap it up. All of the claps back into the box. Pay them in to say goodnight. Midnight six. Burgers and claps and stuff.
Yeah, you just call them taps.
It's the same.
I really don't know that it is. Are we going to continue listening to these stupid things we have on pause?
Maybe. Let's see if we can listen to all of part 2. It wasn't very long. It was only 11 minutes.
Yeah, alright.
Hopefully we can put on pause or whatever if we wanted.
Yeah. It'll just, like, every time we go through it, though, it'll become, like, more and more incomprehensible to everyone but us.
Yes. That's I like it.
That's the perversity of your nature, I think, is you have this desire to just sort of spiral inwards with me away from the rest of the world.
That reminds me of another song.
Yeah?
Jigsaw Girl.
Yeah, but that's redacted.
Yeah.
I wonder if on the next layer up, if they'll even be able to tell the difference between us laughing on one layer of this and the other layer. Aside from contextual clues such as this one. Me bullshitting about layers. Whereas on
To tell the truth, I wasn't even paying attention.
the first layer, presumably there's none of that. But what I mean is, will there be an audible difference in recording quality to the,
The multiple copies.
copies and copies, yeah.
You can hear us arguing about whether it's a good idea to take a shower in total darkness. And well on LSD. And you're like, I don't think we should. And I'm like, but we always take a shower in total darkness.
Earlier.
That was me paying away the box of monsters.
See, it's like, I don't know, it's like the playing field just feels total. I remember feeling, when I paused the recording just there to say that was me putting away the box of matzos, that it seemed odd that listening to myself, I sounded more on the recording, more out of it than I felt listening to it. And I wondered if that was an illusion, and if on further listening it would become evident that I was just as out of it, if not more so on that layer. And indeed, there was something of that, in that I mixed up my voice and Susie's voice in a way that I don't remember having done. There's a minor thing, though.
They're just looking at a number getting bigger.
Yeah.
Just push play.
Why? I just look at this number.
It's boring.
So what?
I guess you're right. Well, let's have a comfortable seat anyway. But I want to learn what happens in this recording. And I just want to see if we can get through it, so see what happens if we get through one. And I could work it out in my head if I want to, what happens, because I'm very smart, but I just want to do it to see what happens.
Unfair now.
face hurts from smiling. Isn't there a song about that?
Well, it's a line in a song at least. SUZZZZZY, Return to Oz. Let's just listen to the whole thing.
It's about a bad trip, right?
Yeah. Let's just watch the whole movie.
No.
There's his king. Alright, we're repeating the numbers.
With smiles and clenching jaws. You know, in the abstract, I can really see how this experience might be incredibly frightening to someone who didn't have the cultural vocabulary to grip it as we do.
Yes, and the tools, like these recordings.
Yes, multi-track recordings do make it easier, at least, to introspect these more complex ways. I'm not sure they actually make it less frightening. If anything, this recursiveness probably, in most people's hands, would
make them more scared.
Yeah.
Like looking in a mirror.
Right, like looking in a mirror.
Wanna look in a mirror?
No.
Jack never wants to look in the mirror. But we are friends. Aren't we friends? Really?
We are friends.
We are friends. I'm sad. I'm sad because I feel like people listening to this recording will believe that really we are friends.
I think they will. It doesn't really matter if they believe it or not.
My soul feels wriggly. It has a bunch of different things inside of it. At least like 2 or 3.
That's gross.
What do you mean that's gross? You should remind me of Shannon.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was doing, Shannon.
Everything is fake here. It's just a bag of impressions of stuff. I'm not sure there's a real person inside this, honestly. That's the scary part of the schizoid. People are like the dark triad, like, narcissism and psychopathy and Machiavelli. No. That stuff is peanuts. The cosmic horrors in the schizoid personality.
And yet, it feels so contentful, so at home, staring up into these holes.
Yeah, which out of context sounds even creepier than it is, I'm sure. We're staring at the holes in the bottom of the light fixtures of the track lighting. There's track lighting here when we moved in, so we got more lights to put in to burn as much lights as possible. So I jammed in the biggest fixtures that would fit on the track, and 7 of them. And we put the biggest bulbs, or CFLs. It was so bright. Of course, we have all the windows covered up, but there's like sunlight CFLs, which most people don't like, weirdly, even though they like sunlight. But they don't like sunlight spectrum CFLs, so I don't know. They say they're too cold.
Yeah, well, I just use the natural light, I think. Natural incandescent light.
Probably you're right. Anyway, so for a while we had that, but then we changed it.
Yeah, you changed it.
Yeah, put in red instead. Red bulbs. I had Jack drop the 6th of 7, so that when you're standing up on the top of the stairs, looking down, it looks like a lowercase I with a dot. A red eye.
I'm not sure I believe you did that on purpose. I think it should be an artifact of circumstance and coincidence.
You can think what you like.